right there. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Whatever you need.
Thanks. So here's a list of the required tools and products that you need to complete this project. 1. A 2x4 wood block. You need that to hold the prop in place when you're screwing or unscrewing the nut. 2. The 1 1/16 socket with a torque wrench. And 3. 2,4-C grease. You need to grease the spline on the shaft of the lower unit. And 4. You're going to need this flathead screwdriver, pliers, 1 quart of high performance gear lube, a gear lube pump kit, and 2 yellow seals. You can find links to all these products in the description of this video. So let's get started with the project. The first thing we need to do is unscrew the nut from the prop shaft so we can take off the prop. And just remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off bottom screw and start flowing out the old oil, and then you take off the bottom top screw for it to air in there, and it flows much easier for the oil to come out. But the next thing we're going to do is bring the engine down, keep it nice and straight, so that way all the oil will come out. So let's bring it down, keep it nice and straight. I think that's about right there, so we're good right there. So the oil will all completely come out of there, and so we can add the new oil. Okay, it uses a 10mm socket, and we're going to take off the bottom screw so we can start flowing the oil out of the out drive here. Yeah, it's really easy to come off, so it wasn't too bad. The main thing with these screws here, you got to make sure you replace the little gasket it has in there. It has a little yellow gasket. Every time you do this, you got to replace those little gaskets just to make sure that we're not going to have oil and water keeping inside there. It takes a pretty long screw, but should be coming off any second now. And you're going to see the oil flowing out of there. Not really. Okay, take off the top one so see if it flows now after we take off the top one. You have the little gasket in there. It's pretty stuck in there, the gasket. You may see what happens when you take it off. It's all messed up, so we have to replace that. So let's put that there for now. And see, this is something really odd. By now, some oil should have came out of there, but we're going to go ahead and tilt this a little bit more to help it out. All right, it took a little while for it to come out, and it freaked me out because I said, what happened? There's no oil in there. But yeah, it just takes a little while for it to start seeping out, but it's coming out slowly but surely. And that's one of the things we do, so that's why we do this first and let it sit there and take its time to go ahead and take all that oil out. Okay, and this is the other gasket we take off. It's pretty on there. You may have to get a screwdriver sometimes and take it off. No, it came off. This one looks a little bit better, but change them, put new ones. They're not expensive. This one was all messed up. You can see it right there. And one of the important things is check the oil as it comes out. It doesn't have any milky looking color or anything like that, and it's all dark, then you're good. It means you have no leaks of water coming into the lower unit. So the oil is coming out nice and clean and dark. No milky or white looking film inside there, so everything's clean. That's a good thing. All right, it's starting to flow. It's really slow, so you got to be really patient with this part. And as you let this flow out, just do something else and let it do what it's doing on its own. So just don't rush it or anything. Make sure all that oil comes out. It's supposed to be like at least a quart or a little bit less than a quart of oil coming out of there, but it's so thick that it's going to take a little while for it to come out. So we'll just have to wait on that, and we'll do something else meanwhile. All right, guys, we've let it sit here for about almost an hour, and it's still coming out a little bit. But I mean, a little bit that stays in there, I don't think it's going to do anything huge or anything like that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tilt the out drive a little bit more to make sure everything is out. and then after that we're ready to go to the next step. All right, so now we're getting ready to put the screws back in. So we're going to put the little new washers in there, and it's a little tight, but you can just easily, without forcing it, you don't want to break them, getting ready for the next one. So we have this one here as well. We have to do same thing here. And nice and seated there. So now we're ready to put these back on and get ready to do the next step on the oil change on the out drive. So stay tuned. All right, I'm gonna put that in there. Perfect. All right, we have the lube on this with the pump, and then since we used a little bit of oil for steering and stuff like that, this is a different oil here. So I want to pump this out. We're just going to put some of the gear lube in there and just flush it out completely to make sure we have none of that old one in there. So we're going to do that next. And next thing we're doing here is just cleaning out the excess old oil. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and put this directly on there, and you put it on the bottom one, not on the top one. And it'll take a few turns. Seat it well, which is perfectly there. And now we're ready to pump the new oil. Now we're going to pump the new oil until it comes out from the top hole we have here. Just clean it out a little bit so we have nothing clean there. Okay, perfect, it's clean. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to pump and pump and pump until we get that oil or the lube come out from the top hole. All right, so we have oil coming out from the top one, so I'm going to just hit it a little bit just to get a little bit of the bubbles out. Okay, now we're ready to put the screw in. So let's go ahead and put the screw in. And perfect, let's stop there so we don't have no more leaks. And we have a rag right under there to pick up that excess. And now we're ready to tighten up. Okay, perfect. Now we're ready to take off the bottom one. Clean up a little bit of the excess there so we don't have a mess here going on. And we're ready to take off the bottom plug there and then put the new screw with the new O-ring or washer. Let me get this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this off. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Alright, let's do it. There you go. Alright. Yeah, once you seat it well, it'll just stop flowing, and then don't over tighten it, just hand tight and a little bit more. That's it. Because if you over tighten, what you're going to do is you're going to break those seals again, like the other one. Looks like that one was over tightened and it was cracked. Here we just want to seat it and tighten a little bit more by hand and not overdo it, but strong enough for it to be nice and seated and not come loose or anything like that with vibration. Alright, so now we're just going to clean up the excess, anything that flowed out, we're just cleaning it up, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to put the prop back on. So here we go. Alright, so we cleaned away a little bit of the old grease that was on there, and we're going to go ahead and put some new grease in there, which is the 24C. This is what is recommended for this type of work, so we're going to go ahead and just put some on there, and then we're going to go ahead and spread it all over the splines. And I like to put it all the way back in here as well. I mean, I like the more grease the better it is. This is not something you're going to overdo. It's always good to keep it protected. Alright, after we're done putting the grease all the way around the splines there, and what that's going to do is protect it. And at the same time, next time we need to service the prop and take it out, it's going to be easy, just like it was today. It's just easy to slip right off. We're ready to put this. Don't forget to put this on And remember, the smaller side is going this way. The bigger side goes against this part here. So we're going to do this like this and put on there. All right, that's seated on there. We got grease in there. Now we're ready to put the prop on. Here we go with the prop. All right, perfect. All right, so perfect. All right, as you look in there, everything is seated well. And back in here, you can see that it's all in all the way. So we're ready to go. So it's nice and ready to go. All right, now we're ready to put the nut on there. Okay, this is important. You have to have that on there. If you notice, it has little notches there, and you want to put the notch between these two little pieces here. So you want to put this like this. Like you see it right there, nice and flat. Now we're ready to put the nut on. Since this is the new version of the hub system, it has to be 100 torque pounds, and that's what we're going to do next. But anyway, here we go. Let's do one more time just to confirm. Here we go. All right, 100 foot-pounds, and we're done. So the next thing, let's take a piece of wood off. Everything looks good. Nice free spin. Everything looks good. All right, now this part here, we already gave it the 100 foot-pound torque, but you see the little tabs in there? They're not lining up on the flat surface of the nut. So what we're going to do is we're going to swing it back just slightly a little bit, so these little tabs on each side will be on the flat side of the nut. And that's the next thing we're going to do. Okay, let me see if it's lining up. Let's take it off again, and just slightly a little bit more. Slightly a little bit more. Okay, let's check that, and I think we're good. All right, we're good right now. Hit it a little bit there. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that's up a little bit. Let me get the other side. Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right, that looks good. All right. Now, if you look in there, you can see the tabs completely flat on the nut there, which is not the way we found it. When I found it, it was completely almost halfway open on both sides. You got to be sure that that is holding on there so that nut will not come loose ever again until next time you need to take it off. Okay guys, so we're done, and here is my final thoughts and issues found. In this case here, when we extracted the lube, we only got 15 ounces on the cup that we measured, and then when we reinstalled the lube back into the lower unit, we used 23 ounces. So that means that it was low 8 ounces. So we checked for leaks. There was no leaks found. So as per the manufacturer, it says that the specs is 27 ounces or slightly less, which we have 23, which pretty close to that. So it was low 8 ounces. And well, I mean, like I say all the time, I don't like to point fingers, but here it is again. And this one probably falls on the selling dealer of the boat, because usually these engines, they come without a prop on, and the dealer who sells the boat installs the prop. That's what I've seen. It may not happen like that all the time, but who knows. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like it, please don't forget to splash the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, now it's an awesome time to do it, and we would love to hear from you. If you have any comments, put them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace from the Keys.